It will come down to Andy Dalton to direct the Cowboys offense against Kyler Murray and the Cardinals on Monday Night Football. Michael Gallup said Dalton is coming to win every time he's in the huddle. So, Shannon, will Dalton play well enough for the Cowboys to win tonight?
I expect him to play well, but I took the Cardinals, Skip. It's just hard to see a scenario that they run the exact same plays. This offense looked just as good with Andy Dalton as it did with Dak. I believe they go back into the original premise of this offense is that they run the offense through Zeke Elliott. And I believe Zeke will become more involved than he was over the last couple of years because they were transitioning away from Zeke. I get it. You know, you play the guy $15 million, but you say, we believe Dak is the guy that can win us championships, and he's wanting 38, 39, 40+ million dollars. We need to go in that direction, and they had started to shift the offense in that direction. There is a reason Andy Dalton was available. There's a reason why the Cincinnati Bengals got the #1 overall pick in the draft. If Andy Dalton was what everybody is hollering about currently, that would have never happened. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, these guys never get the #1 overall draft pick. There's a reason why Andy Dalton got the Cincinnati Bengals got that.
He was 2-11 as a starter last year.
2-11. Is that good?
No.
No. I think Andy Dalton, can he be good in this offense? Because they're not going to ask him to do what they were asking him to do in Cincinnati, Skip. So he can be good, but only if they let Zeke do what Zeke does. Now you play action off of that, and you see the throws that Tom was making. Ro Jones running the football, you play action off of that, and now you got Gronk, and now you got Godwin, now you got guys running scot-free. So if they're going to play the offense like that, I like the Cowboys' chances. My only concern, Skip, because I think Kyler would do Kyler Murray-type things, is that where are they going to generate a pass rush now that Chandler Jones is out for the season with that bicep injury? So it's going to be very interesting to see. Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator, the former head coach of the Broncos, is the DC in Arizona. So it's going to be interesting to see what he dials up to control this offense.
Okay. So, to answer Jenny's question, I do believe that Andy Dalton will play well enough tonight for the Cowboys to win. But I'm not going to pick the Cowboys to win because last game, you remember, I actually picked the Giants to upset them, and it looked like the Giants were going to upset them. And now it's Andy Dalton's turn, and I'm not going to jinx Andy Dalton in his first start. So I'm not going to pick my Dallas Cowboys to win. I will pick my guy Kyler Murray, in part because, remember, he's going home. He's from Allen, which is basically now a suburb of Dallas-Fort Worth, Dallas, actually. And remember, at Allen High School, he went 42-0 and won 3 state championships in a row. He never lost a game as a sophomore, junior, senior in high school. And he feels real good about going home and playing at Jerry World. So I expect Kyler on Monday Night Football to light up my defense, which is lightable. Right? So I think it's going to be high scoring. I'm going to say Kyler wins 35-32, but do not discount what I believe Andy Dalton can do in this offense with these weapons, especially featuring Ezekiel Elliott, as you correctly, to me, point out. Something weird is happening with this point spread. I don't know if you followed this, but the Cowboy bandwagon is back in high gear because Kyler and company opened as a 3.5-point favorite at Jerry World on Monday night.
Then them bet it down.
All of a sudden, they bet it all the way down to Cowboys by 1. Now the Cowboys are a 1-point favorite. That's a 4.5-point swing. If I'm right about
Somebody
this.
laid some heavy money.
Some heavy money on Andy Dalton and the Cowboys.
Absolutely.
And I assume whoever that somebody or somebodies were, I believe that after the shock of what felt like a tragic accident of an injury to Dak wore off, and it was hard. I still can't process it. I keep telling you, I still don't know how he got hurt. I don't know how on that play, that way, he was lost for the season. Getting tackled face-to-face by a 5'11", 190-pound DB, Logan Ryan. How did that happen? I don't know, but it just happens sometimes.
Freak accident.
Freak accident. And yet, once you let the shock wear off and you refocus on what happened post-Dak in that game, Andy Dalton played really well. Again, Pro Football Focus graded him the best quarterback, it was a small sample size, of that weekend. So he goes 9 of 11 for 111 yards. And the truth was, he went Russell Wilson in the last few seconds, with 52 seconds left, he went 72 yards in 5 plays. Isn't that Russell Wilson-esque? Albeit against the Giants. They finally won a game yesterday. Their defense is decent. I'll give it decent. Yeah. Okay, so if we could see quickly, just to remind everybody how good those 2 throws were to Michael Gallup, this is what I'm hoping my team will get some of, if not a lot of, tonight. He rolled out of the pocket. He can move a little bit. I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson, but this was a very good throw with some mustard on it and a very good catch and toe stub by Michael Gallup. And then he comes right back on the next play, bombs away, and threw it up high and far enough that Gallup could go up and snatch it to set up a chip shot field goal to win the game.
Correct.
Which Greg the Leg made with his knuckleball, weird-looking field goal. But I'll take that. So those 2 big-time throws showed me some poise and some fire. And all his teammates were talking about, he ducked into the huddle and said, this is why I came here. Right. This is my time now. We're going to win this game. Again, no disrespect to Dak, because he's not Dak, but he's not bad.
Right.
So Jerry the other day compared him to what Bernie Kosar did for the '93 Cowboys. I was there covering the team at that point. And in the NFC Championship game, which Jimmy Johnson had predicted the Cowboys would win and said you could put it in big headlines on the front of the Dallas Morning News. So Steve Young was unraveling in that game.
Right.
But Troy Aikman got concussed in the 3rd quarter. And here came Bernie Kosar, and he did okay. He completed 5 of 9. He hit Alvin Harper for a 42-yard touchdown, but the big play was 3rd and 19 at his own 19. I'm sorry, 3rd and 9 at his own 19. He hit Michael Irvin for 12 yards. It's just like game-saving kind of plays where Bernie Kosar had been there and done some of that in Cleveland, some of that.
Yeah, in a situation like that, Skip, you want a veteran guy. You want a guy that's, like, as you said, that has been there and done that. And so no matter what we think of Andy Dalton has been a starter in this league. Andy Dalton has won in these leagues. And so as you get in these games and the games become more magnified, amplified, you need someone that's like, okay, maybe he hasn't won a Super Bowl, but he's played in some big games. Andy Dalton has played. The AFC North is not an easy division to win when you got Baltimore and Pittsburgh every single year, and it seems like those guys win. And so you got, and he's beaten Pittsburgh. Okay. He's beaten Baltimore.
Okay. So he's played in 4 playoff games. Yeah. He stunk in those 4 games, but at least he felt what it felt like to play in a playoff game. Right. At least he was the MVP of the Rose Bowl as his TCU team was going 13-0 and beating Wisconsin in the Rose Bowl. I'm not saying it's end of the world kind of stuff, but it's not bad.
Right.
At least he made 3 Pro Bowls and in his first 5 years averaged winning 10 games a year versus a Bernie Kosar who made 1 Pro Bowl in his career and threw 124 touchdown passes. Listen, Andy Dalton's thrown 204. That's a lot.
Right.
204 to 118 interceptions. Not bad. Right. And feels almost meant to be because remember, Cincinnati went to the deadline thinking, are we going to go with Andy Dalton as our interim, sort of placeholder starter while Joe Burrow figures it out? Right. And at the last second, they decided, no, let's throw the kid in the fire. Yeah. He's a tough kid. He's mature for his age.
You know, as cheap as Mike Brown is, he was not going to pay no $18 million for a guy to be a placeholder.
But it happened late.
It did.
And all of a sudden, Andy Dalton had no landing spot except Dallas?
Right.
Really?
And plus, Skip, we'll potentially make people think that we're going to hold on to him, and then maybe you'll come in and offer us a 5th, 6th round, 7th round draft pick.
Do you remember what Jerry had just done right before they signed Andy Dalton? They gave Cooper Rush
$2 million, right?
2.1. They gave him $2.1 million. Cooper Rush then got cut, obviously, went to the Giants because Jason Garrett loved him. Right. Didn't make it, and is now, I think, out of football for the moment. I hope he gets signed somewhere.
But he got a nice little payday.
Okay, well, he did. Okay, he did get a nice little payday. But the point was, then right on top of signing Cooper Rush, they say, take 2. Wait a second. We can have Andy Dalton, and to Jerry and Steven's credit, they said, let's give him $3 million with up to $7 million you can make with incentives.
Looks like he might make those.
Okay, well, I don't know, because I think you got to get them to the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
No, they're hard. They're very hard.
I thought it was like playtime, a couple of
No, they're very difficult to achieve incentives, which is why they don't count
against the cap. Because right.
Okay, so all of a sudden, a guy who lives in Dallas is your backup quarterback, and you think, well, Dak's Iron Man. He hadn't been hurt one time.
It's taking every